This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth, and 2020 has been a rather difficult year, folks, for a lot of people all over the world. But interestingly enough, in troubling times and in uncertainty, a lot of people will often, correctly so, begin to move their assets around as a hedge. And in 2020, a lot of people have been doing that. Just look at Bitcoin, for example, seeing tremendous gains in 2020. But something I feel has gone somewhat unnoticed is the precious metals space. Gold, for example, has had a really good year, but silver in particular has just been phenomenal in terms of its performance, having rallies of upwards of 100% back in March. So I think moving forward into 2021, as there's more FUD and fear, uncertainty, doubt under this Biden administration and potential strict lockdowns and maybe war with Iran, who knows? I think a lot of people are going to continue to move their assets as a hedge. And I think we need to look at silver very closely moving forward into 2021. And joining me on the line right now to help us understand this space and the ebb and flows of the silver market is Michael Romanik. He's the CEO of Silver Dollar Resources. SilverDollarResources.com is the website. Michael, thanks so much for joining us here today to help us understand this space, especially moving forward into 2020. As I said, silver's been doing really well last year in 2020. It had huge rallies in March. So let's just start with this. What would you say makes silver such a unique commodity, and why is it in such high demand?
Well, as a precious metal, you'd think that this is the perfect environment for them to do well in. You got the increased government spending, a weakening US dollar, all the uncertainty around COVID, which is nowhere near. They don't have a handle on that by any means. So, precious metals should be a great place to be. And silver is unique because of its use in all the industrial applications. And as they transition away from fossil fuels, they look at electric vehicles, solar panels, all that kind of stuff. You'd think that would be bullish on the demand side of the equation, specifically for silver.
Yeah, well, I mean, moving forward, I know you don't have a crystal ball here, but in the chance of, let's say, a potential coming dollar crash or something as extreme as that, is silver still a good asset to be moving your assets into in the face of something like a dollar crash?
I don't see why not. I guess it trades with that traditional correlation with gold, and gold being, as I feel, is the ultimate safe haven asset. But I think you get more torque with silver.
Yeah, I think that's been the case for a long time. Now, your company in particular has a couple of very interesting shareholders to me. Namely, number one of them is Eric Sprott. He owns just under 20% of the company. And you also have First Majestic Silver, who owns around 15% of the company. What can you tell us about these two particular shareholders?
Well, you couldn't ask for the top two shareholders to be well-known mining financier Eric Sprott, and then with First Majestic being a very large silver producer in Mexico. Two great guys to be involved with there. Happy to have them.
Yeah, I mean, having Sprott on board is big. That's a big deal. And I also like the guys at First Majestic Silver. I believe you do have a flagship assets in Mexico. We'll talk a little bit about that. Your silver dollar company trades in Canada on the CSE under SLV, and in the US markets under SLVDF. Now, as we said, your flagship assets are in Mexico. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, our primary project is the La Jolla Silver property that we have under option from First Majestic. La Jolla, it was thrown in on the deal when First Majestic acquired Silvercrest back in 2015. Silvercrest spent about $19-20 million on La Jolla. They proved up a historic resource of about 92 million ounces of silver equivalent. So for us, it checks all the boxes. You got a good historic resource to build off of, phenomenal exploration upside, and it's in a great location in amongst numerous operating mines, and only an hour and a half from Durango City.
Yeah, exciting things happening in the metal space in Mexico for sure, but it's all over North America essentially. You have other places in Canada. What can you tell us about some of your other properties in Canada, and what are your plans for those?
Yeah, Silver Dollar, we have exposure to gold with our two Red Lake projects. They're early stage gold targets, right in a real hot camp in Red Lake, where I've seen M&A activity with Evolution Mining buying out Newmont's claims up there. You have Great Bear making a big discovery. Pure Gold is the latest, newest mine that came online in Canada. Their market cap was up to almost $1 billion. So there's lots going on in that area. Lots of other juniors are drilling in the general area. So it's a great place to be.
Well, moving forward, what sort of plans do you have, or I should say, what are the milestones that you hope to achieve, let's say in the next 12 months or so? And let's talk about what's going to be significant for you guys moving forward. What's the milestones you hope to achieve?
Okay, well, in the next few weeks, we're working on a couple press releases to update the shareholders on our progress with the La Jolla compilation. We're going to have information on our new exploration model and our exploration targets. We hope to have a 43-101 technical report out, not a resource, just a technical report, but that will enable us to look at triggering a possible spin out of the Red Lake assets. And the granddaddy of Catalyst will be drilling. And we hope to be drilling the La Jolla project within the first half of this year. And that's where you're going to get the big upside in the valuation, ideally.
Right, right. I know a lot of the viewers of this channel are going to be curious as to your thoughts on the moves that have been happening with Bitcoin. And a lot of people often say, well, you can't hold on to that. Is there something important with having assets and things that are literally tangible? Do you feel, or is it also kind of a safe haven to try out things like Bitcoin, or do you prefer the tangible assets?
I guess each investor can make up their mind on that. Bitcoin, it's not widely understood. I don't pretend to know all that much about Bitcoin. It's got wild swings, and it's getting a lot of attention there in the mainstream media. They had, Elon Musk was on CNBC saying he wanted to look at converting some of the cash on his balance sheet to Bitcoin, and you got Square, PayPal that are buying up apparently all the Bitcoin they can get their hands on for all their transactions that they're doing. So there might be a supply and demand kind of squeeze there. I'm not sure how much new supply comes online with Bitcoin. I think I read somewhere it's like 2% a year is the new supply for Bitcoin. And now if you got all the institutions coming in and buying it, well, that's going to throw that out of whack, and you're going to see a explosive move to the upside, which we've seen over 40,000. Then it pulled back the last few days to 32 and change, I think.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
today it's up another 8%, I think. So it's a pretty wild ride.
Yeah, it's been very highly volatile, as you said, dropping almost around 10 grand in a day. It's biggest dip, but it seems like people, the bulls are buying the dip. It seems, because as you said, it quickly recovered back from 31 or so, back on up to 34. Seems to be hovering around there. But the volatility gives a great deal of uncertainty. So I know a lot of people in my audience are starting to think about gold and silver instead as more of a better safe haven. So this is why I wanted to talk about Silver Dollar Resources. What would you say your company's valuation, how does it compare to all the other peer companies that you're up against here?
Yeah, I think Silver Dollar, we're at the low end compared to our peer group. But I feel once we get drilling on La Jolla, we're going to awaken a sleeping giant. It's been laid dormant there for 6 years. And there's some terrific targets there. So once we get going in exploration, I'm confident we'll get a serious re-rating in the market. And I think what sets us apart is our top tier technical people, tight share structure. And as you mentioned, we got Eric Sprott and First Majestic there supporting us.
Yeah, that should say a lot right there. And as we said in the beginning of this, in times of uncertainty and just swirling fear, people are going to continue to protect themselves. And as we do see an imminent dollar crash coming, I think it's going to be wise for people to move into silver, gold, maybe a little bit of Bitcoin, but you're going to want things that are physically tangible, and silver is a great way to go. Where can people learn more about the company if they want to invest or be involved? I learned a great deal about you guys through wealthresearchgroup.com/silverdollar. I'll have a link to that in the description below. But where would you like people to go to learn more about you guys?
Easiest place, hit the website, silverdollarresources.com. On the main landing page, there's a button for our corporate presentation. Take a look through that. If you have any questions or want some clarifications on some things, my direct line is on the last slide. So please give me a shout. and I'm happy to talk to any interested shareholder or current shareholder.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, I want to encourage people to check it out. This is an exciting time to be getting involved in the precious metal space. Believe me, guys, moving forward in 2021, you're not going to want to miss out. Please check the links in the description below. Once again, Michael, thanks so much for talking to us today.
Thanks, Dan.
We all want truth. The truth will set you free.